Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Mohn.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I am your host, Monique Owe, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host here,
Dr. Amber Mohn.
Okay, so today's topic is, when is it time to let a relationship go? So, Dr. Mohn, let me start this off with you. When is it time to let a relationship go?
So there are all different types of relationships, Monique, but let's just, focus on right now, an intimate relationship,
Okay.
Husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I think it's important that when you stop communicating, we got a problem. If a person is not feeling value in the relationship, you might want to, review some things. Definitely, I think most importantly, the passion. If the passion is no longer there, why are we here? What are we doing? And then if, both parties or even just one party is just not really willing to fix, the issue anymore, fix what's broken, it might be time to let the relationship go.
Makes sense. I like this topic. When is it time to let a relationship go? I think, we do good with relationships. I think people like to be together. I think we're a society, we like to be connected, right? So when you are in an intimate relationship with someone and it's going good, you feel good, right?
Yep.
You feel great. But when it's not going good, of course, you feel horrible, probably, right? Stressed out, just no energy. And, so when is it time to let it go? I think when it's no longer fulfilling you like it used to, when it's no longer making you have butterflies, maybe, or just smile when you see the person. Like, before when you saw them, you was happy. But if it still feels like, oh gosh, they're starting to feel like that, here they come, and you're rolling your eyes, I think that might be a sign that it might be maybe time. But I think let's go a little deeper. If it's harmful, definitely. If it's harmful to you, to your safety, maybe even harmful to them, that might be a sign that it's time to let it go. If you are compromising everything you were about, everything, not just a compromise about who wants this type of furniture, just everything you used to be about, your career, your beliefs, things you used to desire, things you used to like, even hobbies, and you have let all of that go because of this relationship. You stopped talking to people that you used to talk to. That's probably a sign that it's time to let this relationship go. I think, well, Dr. Mohn, let me say, since we highlight this is time to let it go, why is it so hard for people to let go?
So many reasons. It could be kids. You may have, kids. You may have, don't want to, what people say, we're doing this for the kids. I know we both are in agreement on how we feel about that.
Right.
It could be finances.
Yes.
I need you.
We need you nowadays, especially. Exactly.
But also too, there's another one. Oh, time. A lot of people are hung up on how much time has been invested in this relationship.
Yes.
Even though you're wasting time at this point. So
yes, that is true. That is true. That's a good one. Even though you're wasting time, you hung up on time. I think it's all the time you put in. It's also, do I now have to get to know somebody else? Like that person, even though if you've been together for a while, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they kind of know you. They know your little pet peeves. They know what you like, what you don't like, really. You don't have to learn someone all over again because you're with them. But now if you leave that relationship, you feel like, I got to learn somebody all over again. I think another reason people don't leave is because if you're younger, you might feel like, well, I got a chance, right? I could just meet somebody else. But when you start to get older,
yes.
You want more stability, maybe. And I'm not putting stability on age, but I'm just saying when your thought process starts to change, like, well, I want more stability in my life. I want this, I want that. Getting in another relationship is kind of like, maybe I should just make this work. Like, maybe this is just what I have. And I think, Dr. Mohn, can I ask you, is this all that I have? Just, oh, well, this is what I have. Should I just compromise like that?
I don't think so. No, I would never recommend that.
Okay. So I think there should still be joy, right, in the relationship is what we're saying. Even if you've been together for years, it should still be fun, right? You should still be excited to spend time with each other. You still should be able to want to travel with each other, to be together. I think, another reason to let a relationship go is really when there is no connection anymore. It's just, we don't even see eye to eye, even on the simplest things, like, what do you want for dinner? And we get into an argument about that, just because I want to eat fish and you want to eat chicken, and we disagreeing about that. And if the small things trigger an argument that turns into a big thing, I think it's time to let that relationship go. If health is being affected, because you're so stressed about it, and now you have a health condition to the point where you may be passing out sometime. Maybe your blood pressure is shot up so high to the point you almost had a stroke. Maybe, yeah, that's probably a sign that relationship is not that healthy anymore. So, but before we go into how can you heal from that and how you can work on letting something like that go, let's make a segue here. Let's jump into, you guessed it, the situation. Dr. Mohn, what's the situation for today?
All right. Thank you, Monique. All right. Here's our situation. Dear Healing Podcast, I have a family situation. I need some help to try not to pass judgment or form a negative opinion. I have a cousin that I was very close to, but over the years we've drifted slightly apart. Not because of any conflict, more so because of time, distance, and both having families of our own now. A few months ago, our great aunt, who was like a grandmother to us, lent some money to my cousin. Well, last month, my aunt called me and said money was being taken out of her account little by little. She didn't notice the money was missing until a couple of weeks ago. When her bank did the trace, they found out that the money was being deposited into an account of someone that has my cousin's boyfriend's name on it. My aunt contacted my cousin about it. Initially, my cousin didn't respond. However, when she did, she was surprised. She said someone hacked her phone and must have been doing it. She denied knowing anything about it. First, I don't know if my cousin is telling the truth. And second, should I address this issue with my cousin or stay out of it? What do you think? Wow, that is a difficult situation. Thank you for trusting us with our opinion and suggestions. Oh man. So when it comes to, and I'm this type of person, I am very protective over my family. And so, even though when I talk about being protective, I'm protective over my elders, my mother, my father, my grandparents, everything. So I get that, you probably want to step in and go deeper into this with your cousin. But my suggestion is to focus more on protecting your aunt at this point. I would let her relationship be what it's going to be when it comes to your cousin, but I would make sure on, that she understands how to protect herself against fraud of any kind. And so I would, maybe look into that and kind of make sure that this, her account, help her with, setting up her account so that nothing like this happens again. But as far as you're concerned, you have your own relationship with your cousin. So, you've asked, she said that, and it's up to you if you don't believe her or not. But I would probably do more of, letting it go, forgiving, but not forgetting. Because I'm guessing that, if the money was taken out of your great aunt's account, the bank is typically, they'll let you, get the money back. Now, whatever happens to the person, however they go after the person, that's on them. And I think that kind of solves that. So I would just, focus on protecting your aunt by just making sure that her account is secure. Nobody else can do something like that to her again, whether they're strangers or family. As far as your cousin is concerned, forgive, but don't forget, and just kind of just try to move on.
Okay, so thank you for tuning in and writing to the Healing Podcast. And let me just say, well, as far as you not believing her or not, I think ask yourself, has your cousin shown you any time a history of lying to you before? I know you guys have drifted apart just a little bit because of life, but if she's not a person who has shown you a pattern of lying, she could be telling the truth. Maybe someone did hack her phone. It could have been her own boyfriend. Not saying he didn't do it, but she may not have been aware that he was doing it, because that does happen. So I think with that, look at the person's pattern. If she's had a history of doing things that are a little shady or a little kind of like on the edge, then yeah, well, you know what? Just make a decision maybe not to trust her with certain things. We know financially that was wrong to do that to your aunt, but that right there, look at the person's pattern. Now, whether you believe or not, that's one thing. Just look at the pattern. But as far as your aunt, I think what Dr. Mohn said is perfect. Help your aunt stay protected financially with her accounts. But as far as, getting involved and letting that put a damper on your relationship, I don't know if that should take much weight if your relationship goes beyond that, right? If you guys find out that she was behind it, then yeah, there's a consequence. You guys may need to keep some distance from her and letting her get so close to things, But I think look at the person's history and pattern, what you know about them. And that's it. I think from there, your aunt told it to you. Help your aunt stay protected. Hopefully she got her money back. I hope it wasn't a large amount. And if it was the boyfriend, then maybe as a family, you guys can get with your cousin, let her know, like, this guy may not be a good guy, because if he did that behind her back, That's very shady, very shisty to do something like that to someone you're allegedly with, to steal from their family. And just, that's wrong. So that might be a sign for you guys to help your cousin to get out of that situation. That's so funny because our topic today is about relationships. So maybe that's a sign of that not being a good relationship either. Let that go. We don't know. But anyway, thank you for writing in that situation to the Healing Podcast. Dr. Mohn, anything else about this situation today?
No.
Okay. All right. So if anyone else would like to write into the Healing Podcast and share your situation, please go to support@thehealingpodcast.com. Send that email with your situation. Or you can go to thehealingpodcast.com and hit the contact tab and just submit your situation there. And a mention to our sponsor, which is healingexpressionsllc.com. If you're looking for therapeutic services and would like to book a session in the Atlanta, or if you're in the Georgia area, go ahead and hit that healingexpressionsllc.com and hit the contact tab and try to book a session today. All right, so back into our topic about when is it time to let a relationship go. So Dr. Mohn and I have highlighted, reasons why it's time to let it go, why it's such a struggle to let it go, because you know the person all the years together. I mean, Dr. Mohn, if you're not being fulfilled, what about thinking about the positives that can come? If you do let it go, what about the positives? Yeah.
So that gives you an opportunity to find somebody that you actually can mesh with, and there are people out there. There are people. You are not alone. You're not the only person who might be unfulfilled in their relationship, scared to leave because you feel like there's no one out there. There's no one out there for you, and so sometimes we often lose ourselves in these relationships. And we forget who we are. You don't give yourself an opportunity to go and figure out who you are, what you want, what you like, so on and so forth. So that's a positive, is getting out there, even, and it might not even be to find somebody else, but just to get to know who you are. Take the stress off your back. Not, you're avoiding your loved one, not communicating, not living life, so.
I love that, Dr. Mohn. I think that's true. I think not even think about you, think about the other person, right? If you're not happy, it's no way the other person can be happy, because you guys are not spending much time together. You're neglecting yourself. You're probably neglecting them. I can't see it being that great. How do you spend time with somebody you can't stand to be around? Yeah. I mean, you can fake it for a while, but you can't fake it forever. So I think think about the other person. I think having an honest conversation, is this where we're supposed to be? Maybe you guys reached a point until where you were supposed to get to, but now it's a different avenue. I do understand that's a little different. If you're married, you can't just walk out, but you need to understand, are we creating a happy home for both of us? And if you have children, is it a happy environment for your children? Seeing mom and dad go at it, or not go at it, not talk, and they can tell mom is on one side of the house, you on the other side. We don't go to dinners together, we don't eat together, we don't go to parks together, anything. The children can see that. So, like Dr. Mohn said, her and I are in the same predicament, that when you say that you're together for the kids, are you really? Do you think you're helping the kids? Do you think you're hurting the kids? Now, financially, I get it. If you feel like you can't sustain yourself without the other person's income. Well, you might have to have a conversation. How can we either cohabitate for now until I can get myself together, but we can't be together because we're just forcing ourselves to be together when the drive is gone, the intimacy is gone. We don't communicate. We don't bond together anymore. We don't laugh it together anymore. Everything is forced. It's time to let that go, I would say. To get help with that, though, I think maybe get with a counselor or a coach, relationship coach, to kind of help you. I don't think you should make anything hasty. I think you need to give it thought. And I'm probably right now, if this is tugging on your heartstrings, like tugging, yeah, we might be talking to you. So, Dr. Mohn, let me ask you really quick. What happens to us when we stay in something that we shouldn't?
Well, stress, resentment, always in a bad mood, just unhappiness is what happens.
Yep. Weight loss, weight gain, right? Like you said, hair can fall out as a woman, right? Because of the stress. Just like you say, I think Dr. Mohn said, you just let yourself go. You don't care. You're not motivated, right? And is that really you? So if you're carrying all that health issues, letting yourself go angry, resentment, depressed, maybe even anxiety, why are you staying in that when you weren't that person before? You have to ask yourself that, okay? But anyway, so to help you with that, to be able to let go, well, one, here's some healing tips. Well, one, you may need to talk to somebody that you trust. You may want to go to a therapist or relationship coach about it. You may also want to just make a list of the pros and cons of why you're with this person. Ask yourself, what is your apprehension? What are you so fearful of? you've been able to get through a lot of things in life and you made it through. So why is this issue such the thing that you feel like you can't get over? Ask yourself that. I mean, Dr. Mohn, is it okay for a person to confide maybe in a close friend about something like this, or do you feel like no, you should keep the friends out of it?
I don't think that there's anything wrong with bouncing, how you feel off of, a friend.
Okay. So as you see, Dr. Mohn said you could talk to someone about it. I know I get not sharing your business with everyone, but yeah, I think talk to a friend about it sometimes about, if it's really getting to the point like it's weighing on you. And then, like I said, if you feel like you need an objective opinion, therapist or coach, right, Dr. Mohn?
Yes.
Somebody can kind of help you highlight it. And maybe you guys need to have a session together so you guys can talk to look, we are not in a good space and maybe we can have an amicable split, right, Dr. Mohn? I think amicable splits do exist, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So everything doesn't have to be drama.
They're rare, but they do.
She said it's rare. Well,
I'm not gonna.
Listen,
no,
we're joking. No, we're joking.
Yes.
No, it's difficult because everyone wants what they want, right?
Yeah.
But people make it after the split, right, Dr. Mohn? People find
absolutely.
happiness afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think people are concerned they won't find happiness again, but you will, because you'll learn about yourself. You'll be better. Hopefully you won't be sick anymore. And that person may bring out the next person may bring out something in you that you knew you never had. That's not downing the person you are with now. It's saying they got you to this point.
Right.
So Dr. Mohn, any other thoughts about when is it time to let a relationship go?
No.
Okay. All right. So before we go, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with something. And that is sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. And that was by Marilyn Monroe. So we thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. We appreciate your support. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.